Hello people, so welcome to my review of One Piece chapter 1044. After 2 weeks of waiting, it is finally here. By the end of this chapter, we're literally in the final phase of Kaido versus Luffy, and I can't wait to see the overall outcome of this arc. Like Oda was hyping up at Jump Festa, and we got a pretty good answer as to what's going on with Luffy right now. So let's start off with the cover page with Yonji and Niji. They're about to be experimented upon. That girl with the octopus tentacles, the experimentations, I guess, it makes sense because obviously German with the technology. I don't know if Oven's leaving or if he's just gonna watch this, but he's just like in the background there, so you would suspect that Reiju, Ichiji, and Judge would make their appearance pretty soon, considering if they don't, they're about to be literally about to be carved open. Anyway, the Doctor in the middle kind of like reminds me of the Millennium Earl, just because of the coat and the long tall hat, the long top hat, so that's pretty cool. Let's get into this chapter. So we start off with Zunisha and Momo continuing to hype up Luffy and this new development of what's overcome Luffy, and we kind of get some indication of what's happening. So you got a tune playing in the background, and I don't know if that's Luffy doing that or if that's just a property of the Gama Gama no Mi, because that was really hyped up in this chapter. So, which makes sense because in the previous chapter, Zunisha was describing Luffy's awakening as some type of drums of liberation. So I'm guessing this is a song of liberation. The doom da 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 da. That has to be explained upon if we ever get a flashback to Joy Boy. By the way, I think this pretty much confirms that Joy Boy and Sun God Nika are one and the same. Pretty much, because in the same sequence you have Luffy be described as Joy Boy. By the way, I think it's cool. It looks like those with observation hockey down below are actually sensing. They're either hearing Luffy and the tune still being awake, or they can sense Luffy's hockey. Immediately cuts to Sanji waking up, and then it goes to Kid and Law. We don't get to see Zoro's reaction, although I'm pretty sure Zoro will be completely out of commission. Hyogoro, which makes sense because he described Luffy's Gear 4 mode, the Bounce Man mode, as the God of Fire. So yeah, it would make sense that we get Hyogoro in this scene as well. You also have Marco, who's also like sensing Luffy, and Nami and actually Tama actually turn over in the background. So Nami's already breaking down. She was already breaking down about Luffy in the previous chapter, but now hearing about Luffy, she's crying alongside Tama, so that's kind of emotional. Again, I still gotta give Nami credit for what she did in the previous chapter, standing up to Kaido, and actually literally marching up to Kaido too. So then we go to Pangaea Castle in Marajose, with the Gorosei, and indeed the devil fruit that they've been meaning to get back is the Gama Gama no Mi. It's always been out of their reach according to them, which again explains why they were so harsh on Who's Who. He lost the devil fruit and then it ended up with Shanks. That's going to be an interesting tale. How far back did Oda plan this? But what's really crazy, apparently the Gama Gama no Mi is really a mythical Zoan. Like, what the... Okay. Which kind of makes sense in regards to like Katakuri and how his devil fruit was being described as a special type of paramecia. He has properties of a Logia, so that's kind of interesting. Although in this case it's the human fruit. So I guessing that's when it's awakened, because though the body gains the properties of rubber in combat, they're supposedly only limited by their imagination, putting smiles on faces. So you really gotta give credit to Luffy for like putting his imagination to work and actually working hard to master the Gama Gama no Mi like he has. Far and wide, they are the embodiment of the warrior of liberation. Sun God Nika. This is what I was saying in exactly the same sequence that the hyping up Luffy. Zunisha mentions Luffy as Joy Boy, and in this chapter the devil fruit has been described as the essence of Sun God Nika. So that can't be a coincidence. But more importantly, the awakening especially strengthens their rubbery body, and they have more freedom. So obviously that second part is important to Luffy. So obviously gonna fail. The Gorosei are gonna get furious because they failed to get the job done. And they actually mentioned like we sacrificed one of our best agents, and in the process angered Kaido. Not that it's going to make a difference. And I said this in the last chapter. They already messed up. So they only have one Cypherpole agent unless there's more on those warships. Then we go to Hiyori and Orochi, and I was actually kind of glad Oda did this because we needed to get the conclusion to this. So Orochi is like pleading with Hiyori, or he still thinks it's Komurasaki. It's like to like get the sea stone nail out of him so he can move, because he can't budge, he can't transform, so he's pretty much helpless at this point. Orochi's like, oh, I really admired Oda. It was Kaido that put me up to it, trying to manipulate his way out of this, but it's like we can still run together. Just Hiyori has a pretty good response about how he treated Odin and how he misled Odin and how he betrayed Odin's trust, because he really did. It was Odin actually gave Orochi money, and then after that, obviously he lied about the whole dancing in the public to save lives. Obviously, he was going to kill the people of Wano anyway. And then he also lied about the execution. If he could withstand an hour, he would let them go. Obviously, that didn't happen. This is what triggers Hiyori, because completely trying to BS his way out of the situation. He's like, oh yes, I always said Oda was a great samurai. As a shogun, I can ensure his legacy is recognized. And then the mask comes off, and then we get this epic panel of Hiyori tearing up and like, hold your tongue, you miserable wretch. I kind of wanted Hiyori to be the one to kill Orochi, but it does make sense, and it's actually poetic the way it ends. So then we get the Konzanbo, the apparition of Kandra the ghost, apparently made its way away from Yamato. Doesn't matter, because it's the Konzanbo's like, I failed. It approaches Orochi, and then Orochi's like, okay, you go ahead and burn Hiyori. It doesn't happen because he immediately attacks Orochi, burns him, and then Hiyori's like, the dawn will come. That's where it cuts. But it does make sense of Orochi being burned, considering that's how Odin was executed, being boiled alive, pretty much. Then it cuts to Luffy. This is my peak. This is Gear 5th. So this chapter pretty much confirms this is Gear 5th now. And this is where, oh man. So you see the Conqueror's Haki coming through the roof. Like, Kaido just notices this. You see Kyogoro in the background. You got some father being knocked out. Even Kaido is like, what the hell's going on here? And out of nowhere, Luffy's giant hand grabs a hold of Kaido. This whole scene, like, first off, it's comedic as hell. And then you see Law, Kid, and Chopper in the background. Like I said, Kaido's just being ragdolled, and he's just being spun around by Luffy. By one arm, by the way, the other arm, he's like bulking up, show posing. He's like posing with the other, but he's still got the classic laugh. He's like, shee 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 shee. Kaido just gets tossed down. Then Kaido responds with blast breath. And the way that Luffy counters is pretty epic, but also comical at the same, because they both give similar expressions. Like Kaido with his eyes popping out the moment Luffy grabs him out of nowhere and just swings him around is kind of hilarious. But Luffy does the same thing with his eyes and tongue bulging out. It's like on some type of Tom and Jerry or Mask type of deal where he has that expression with Kaido's attack. So it looks like he either evades or he gets nailed. He rolls back, and then actually he's gripping the ground, and as he's doing it, he's actually pulling the ground up. They're using Awakening for the first time, which is pretty cool, to like use the floor to actually block the attack, Kaido's blast breath, which is pretty epic. And Luffy is just full on laughing. We get the reveal of Luffy's Gear 5th mode. The only difference is obviously his head on his face. Everything else about Luffy is pretty much the same, which I like, because it's completely different from Gear 4th, which it needed to be. But then we actually get a compliment to the way that the round 3 ended, with Kaido being the victor, technically. With Kaido's like, sorry about that, I didn't want to win. We knew this moment was coming, by the way, so it's nothing shocking. It is kind of cool on Kaido's behalf. And by the way, I said this before, but these next few chapters are going to be huge for Kaido's development, because he already killed the Cypherpole agent. I don't know if he killed the other one, because we still got one more out there. He was watching in on this, so I don't know if he's going to pursue Robin, or if he's going to try to do something with Luffy, because now more than ever, the government they're screwed. They're going to fail, and Luffy's battle is going to shoot up like we thought. And especially now they know the Gama Gama no Mi is with Luffy. It's like they were taking Luffy lightly, but now they no, it's like, okay, now we can't allow this to happen anymore. But they already failed in that. So, like I said, the previous chapter and this one is instrumental of where the series goes moving forward. And if Luffy's development as a character, and this is the thing, this chapter answered my question in terms of what I said in the previous review, is that what happens with Luffy's personality? Is it his own personality, or is it like the reincarnation of Joy? But I think that was a lot of concern that people had, that because it's the power that Sun God Nika and possibly Joy Boy had, that they would like influence the outcome of this fight. No, it's just the properties of the power that they passed down. Luffy is conscious, which is pretty cool. That's the answer to the question that I wanted. Is he conscious of this new form? And these are new abilities? Obviously he is, because he says something at the beginning of this chapter which pretty much highlights that point. Because while he's on top of the roof, he's like, I just lost, but I feel like I'm having a blast. Which is exactly how Luffy was before the fight got interrupted. Again, you can make your case if you still think it's some type of reincarnation with the devil fruit, or if it's just like Luffy. If nothing else, this chapter, you gotta give credit where credit's due with Luffy creativity with the Gomu no Mi. Also, we get the first look at Luffy's eyes since the whole, I guess his skin was like, the hair was covering his face. By the way, that's the other thing too. His eyebrows are completely different too. It's like he's Sanji all of a sudden. Dude, his eyes are the most telling part about this, because they will look so unhinged. So I can't wait to see what other abilities Luffy has in this mode. I have to say, I feel like this chapter was tailor-made for the anime. When this comes out in the anime eventually, this is going to break the internet. Like the chapter before that comes out in the anime, and then when we get to this episode, it's going to break the internet. Like straight up on some Ultra Instinct type of deal, where that crushed the internet. This is going to be the biggest possible that Gear 5th will make an appearance in One Piece Film Red, because anything's possible. Personally, I don't think so. But you never know with Oda. He wants to match the success that Demon Slayer and Jujutsu Kaisen had, both their movies had, so I wouldn't be surprised. So the final phase of Kaido vs. Luffy is finally here. Gear 5th is finally here. Oda's like, nope, we're not going for another mode in Gear 4. Nope, we're going to the next level to wrap up Wano. So I can't wait to see how this actually ends. It's going to be unbelievable going forward. It's already been epic so far. So let me know what you guys think down below. Those are my thoughts. Please tell me yours in the comments below. That's going to do it for today, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Like the review if you did. Thumbs up, I appreciate that. Subscribe to the channel for more One Piece. Catch you guys later. Thanks, guys. Bye.